Următoarea prezentare va fi susținută de Grossen, VP Design la here. It will be in English, yes?
Yes.
And we will find out some news about their activity, not only in Romania, but globally, I think.
Yeah.
Success. Enjoy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. I know it's towards the end of the day, so if you want to come up and join me up here, it's a lot of fun up front. Well, fun. So I'm excited to be here on the IT Ops stage because I'm a designer. And I have the privilege to work with hundreds, if not thousands, of engineers every day to make location intelligence and maps come to life. And so I'm really excited to be on this stage, and not some marketing stage down there or some design stage, but here where things happen, where we really build the future of the technologies that the masses use every day. So I work for Here Technologies out of Berlin. We have about 60 designers there, user experience designers. Just to let you know, there's about 9,000 people in the company itself, about 3,500 engineers or so. And so we're a very, very small part of the organization. But what we really try to do is take what we've been doing for about 40 years, and that's creating maps and creating location data and location intelligence, and making those things come to life in new experiences. And we all use maps. You probably used maps not once, not twice, but maybe dozens of times today alone to get here, to see where your friends are, to see where you're going to eat later tonight. And those maps today are kind of maps 2.0. They're pretty rich. There's lots of information on it, lots of data on them. You can access them very quickly, but they're still very flat. They're on your mobile phone, they're on your web, they're on kiosks all over the place, but they pretty much haven't changed the aesthetics of the map, nor the way that we interact with them that much over the past 5 years. What we're looking at is how do we really take maps and location intelligence and apply that in new places. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that because if you don't know about here, this is what we're doing. We're all about location, all about this point in time and this point in place and all the things that surround us and how we gather all the information about place. That's the magic that we do. We make the world location intelligent so you can make your products and your robots and your fleets and your advertising location intelligent. So all that information, all that data can make your products so much better, those experiences so much better. And just walking around today, you know, there's kind of the standard what you think of maps and location and routing and guidance, you know, smart mobility. Duh, you need maps to get on the train and get off the train, and whether you're going to use an Uber or whether you're going to drive your car, you're going to make decisions based on traffic and location and how to get from point A to point Z. Pretty standard stuff. Where are you going to charge up your car? How are you going to get there? Are you going to get there in time? So we work with these type of people, companies, in order to make sure that their products consider location at the core of what they do, and that it adds to the experience and adds to the value of their products. Delivery of products, delivery of goods, primary case study. So we work with these guys. We work a lot with Amazon to get from manufacturing to middle mile to end mile to your front door. And whether that is by a big truck, or whether that's by someone on foot, or by bicycle, or by drone, we provide the location information to make that happen. But then you got to think about all the other companies, not these big Fortune 50 companies that need this information, but what about the startups? What about the small development community? What about the company that just has this great idea that requires maps, requires location, And it can really go broad. I mean, this guy is, I don't know if you've walked over to the kind of startup community over there, but this guy is looking at the community of the blind or sight impaired and looking at how do you display space and place and context of place to someone who can't see this hallway. So through touch. It's a really interesting place to explore that it's not just about the map, but it's about data, the location data, and how it could be applied in these scenarios. Fitbit, of course. It's not just about your heart rate, it's about where you ran. It's about how that route changes over time to make you healthier. It's about helping people make decisions, not just about health, but about a number of other things based on your understanding of where you are. But it takes a lot of data, tons of data. Making maps and making map data is extremely difficult. It has to be comprehensive. It has to be redundant. You got to make sure that those points of interest are for real. They're not just fake. You have to make sure that it's real time or as fast as you can get it, right? It has to be updated. So you're not looking at a street view from 2008 here in Bucharest and you say, well, that building doesn't exist, or that building is new. It has to be accurate. And so it takes an incredible amount to do so. And so layer on top of that is something that we call the reality index. So it's, if you think about traditional maps, about roadways and footprints of buildings, all the other things need to be mapped too. All the street lights, all the park benches, all of the manhole covers in the street for the utility company. Every bit of detail, down to the centimeter, needs to be mapped and will eventually be mapped. Think about how much effort that takes. But we're starting to do that. And we use a lot of other things. It's not just about taking a picture from above and trying to figure out what all those things are. We're using lots of sensors and probes that are in cars, that are in trucks, that are on bicycles, that are with people, to start looking at all the little details of the city and the life around you and mapping those out. Something called the reality index. Just some obligatory numbers, had to do that. A map, to maintain a map, incredible amounts of data, 28 terabytes of map data per day, huge amount. Someone told me that we're the 4th biggest customer on AWS with that much data going through. I can imagine. We're in 80%, from a pure map standpoint, map and routing and guidance, we're in 80% of the cars on the road in Europe. And that includes Daimler, that includes BMW and Audi. They own half of us, so we have to be in their cars, but we're in a bunch of others. But it's an incredible amount of information that we have to capture, which gives us a lot of opportunity to make some really interesting things. So these are some of our partners. If you use Facebook, the maps in Facebook, that's here. BMW, obviously, and Audi and Daimler, Intel, Amazon, and now a new partner for us, a Virgin Hyperloop. Because you think, well, a Hyperloop is just in a tube, and going in a tube, why do you need maps for that? But they're looking at it being a huge vehicle for transporting goods at a very high rate. It's not just about people movement, but they need to coordinate on either end. And what do you need to coordinate on either end? You need to understand traffic conditions, you need to understand the routes, you need to stage all of the trucks that are unloading and loading on either end, and that's where our products come in. So some of the things that we use the mapping intelligence for, not just maps that you see, but the location intelligence, is for around navigation, routing and guidance, pretty standard stuff. But we are one of the best, if not the best, at it in the industry because we have been working with the automotive groups for so long, and these things have to be bulletproof. The navigation and routing and maps have to be bulletproof in these cars, or it's a safety issue, or you drive off the road, or you're getting information that you make a wrong decision and a wrong turn, it could be fatal. So it's really industrial strength when it comes to this. When we start looking at other opportunities for where location intelligence matters, there's quite a few advertising and marketing firms out there are looking at really about targeting messages to either groups of people or even to individuals. You need to know those patterns of movement. You need to know where they are and where they're coming from. And so we're working with a lot of advertising agencies and outdoor advertising agencies to really look at how do you bring location into the factor when you're talking about advertising to individuals or to groups of people who are coming to events. And then the last one here, if I can get it. Aha. Well, the last one there was supply chain management. And obviously fleet management, what I talked about with AWS, was really big. But really what I'm interested in from a design perspective, and there we go. I'm interested in how this location intelligence starts to come to life for real user experiences, end user experiences. Those end users can be drivers in the fleets. They can be you driving or walking around in the city. But we're working with Daimler on a concept, an augmented reality concept, using the front-facing cameras of the car, overlaying 3D maps over top, because we know where you are, we know the renderings and the footprints of the buildings of the city that you're in. We can produce something like this, which gives you a lot more context of where your starting point is when you're navigating. And so we're playing around a lot with really how do you engage with the location information in a new way. This is in a Tesla console of using our 3D maps. Let's see if it plays here. And our designers are really fixated on the details around, this is an example of parallax. So when you move from side to side, how do you interact with the map and what information do you get at that time? So we're really playing around with how did these things come to life. This is, it's not just about cars, it's about drones also. And so we're using these type of maps, isograph maps, to look at where the drone is going and making sure that they don't run into the side of a canyon or building. Less so important probably in an environment like this, but excruciatingly critical when you're talking about flying a drone through traffic in a city. So these are the things that we mock up, and we work with folks like DJI to make these things come to life. And so how does our location intelligence make these user experiences easy, accessible, and really valuable? And some of these are kind of more traditional case studies of looking at that end-to-end delivery, and how do you look at a package going from point A to point Z. How do you track that? How does it come to life for a NOC, a network operator, who's looking at this all day long? And so we're constantly working with these teams, developers, engineers, marketers, operations people, to bring location information to life. And that's really key, and that's key why we're here, is that it really depends on getting developers, giving them the tools and the content they need to build great products. Really to turn what is essentially data and services into really kick-ass products, things that are really going to make a difference in the market. And to do so, we've got a few tools that we're starting to roll out. One is XYZ, just rolled out this week, which gives the power, basically, anybody, including me, who's not a developer, the ability to start overlaying data onto maps and start modeling data like heat maps, flight patterns, all kinds of data that you can upload around cities, around demographics, overlay that onto maps, and start modeling that out for your use. Obviously, if you go a little bit deeper and you jump into the CLI, you can start really modeling that data much more robustly and much more fine-tune it. But it gives you, this is really about access, democratizing access to location information and location data to create the products that you need. Next year, we're going to be rolling out kind of an industrial strength version of that, where you can get down to the, really down to the map level, the individual details of a map, and create new branded or new focused maps with this tool. It was really born out of the OEMs, because the OEMs need to be able to brand and create their own specific maps. And traditionally, it's all been done through XML. We've built a tool for that. And so if the OEM developers and designers can use it, why can't you? So we're going to release that next year. And then I'm just going to run through some more of that. To get on this and to get our technology, to get our APIs and SDKs, we have a freemium model. Get on there, play with it, doesn't cost you anything. You get quite a few transactions out of it each month, and no credit card required, no Bitcoin required, and you have access to 20+ location APIs that you can build the cool stuff that we showed earlier. Go to developer.here.com. And we're all working towards, if I can get a run in, we're all working towards this picture, which is maybe not 2050, maybe 2030, around the autonomous world, and how cities start to grow and leverage location technologies, location information, to build the cities of the future around autonomy, autonomous driving, autonomous delivery, smart cities, smart buildings. All those things require location intelligence. I'd love to, if you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you for this view of the future.
That view of the future, yeah.
Nice work. Any question from the audience? Come on, people. Maybe later.
Is someone building, in the audience right now, building something with location, with maps in it today? Any examples today? Not yet. Well, now I hopefully inspired you to go out and build something with maps. Thank you.
Thank you.